In this video, I've got a rather large delivery coming from Heron Forbes for my workshop. I'm fixing my CB750 because I broke it. I'm also doing a giveaway and we're working on Crystal's CB400. So let's get into it. Welcome to Cafe Racer Garage. I am Dan, giving you the skills and inspiration that you need to build a motorcycle that you can be proud of. I've had a lot of funny comments come through over the years about me welding in shorts, and although I don't recommend it, it's probably something that's not going to change unless I'm doing a lot of welding. But something that is going to change is me welding on the concrete floor. This is a 10mm thick top welding table, or fixture table if you like. This is going to be a game changer in my workshop. However, it's going to take up valuable real estate, so I need to do something to it in order for it to actually not take up too much room. So this has achieved two goals, which is one, make it mobile, and two, have it high enough so it roll over my existing bench so it doesn't take up any more real estate in my garage. So just fast forwarding a couple of days, I just wanted to show you where I've placed it. As you can see, it's already full of stuff, which I'll get to later in the video because I've been working on it, which has been fantastic. But the placement of it, I've taken the support out and it's just rolled over the top of my existing bench, which means it hasn't taken up very much more real estate than already is taken up anyway. So that's a huge win, and I can always roll it out whenever I need to. So I've been using my CB750 as my daily. I still have a few little bugs to iron out of it. And as you can see here, there's a cover that needs to go on and tidy up some of that wiring. But down here is what actually happened the other morning when I took it for a spin to take it to the gym. I snapped this linkage here. It's an aluminium 6160 and it just clearly snapped. It's obviously a weak point. So I'm gonna replace that with a bit of stainless, probably some threaded rod, and that should sort out the problem. So this little guy here is the original Honda linkage connector. I know this for a fact that it's left-handed thread because I had to actually get the die to make that thread that goes inside there. So I need the opposite of that, which is one of these, but a right-handed thread. I only have left-handed, so let's go down the shop. Alrighty, I'm back and I ended up getting 1, 2. I have this rule that's 2 is 1 and 1 is none, but this one can go aside and I'll probably use it another time, or if I break this one or something happens, at least I've got the spare and I don't have to race down the road again to get another one. Because this linkage needs a bend in it, rather than using this 6mm threaded stainless steel rod and then putting a sleeve on it, I've decided I'm going to make my own. So let's get into it. If you've ever used a tapple die, you'll know they kind of wander sometimes, so I'm just using a lathe here to try and keep it perfectly straight. So that linkage that snapped was made of 6061 aluminium. It really shouldn't have snapped, but it did. So here we are making a stainless one. And when I actually had that made, I needed to cut a left-hand thread in it. So I purchased this little guy here. This is a left-hand cutter, M6x1. Perfect for what we need. I knew I'd use it again, and here we are. Every afternoon, these little guys come and visit me in the garage. See, not all of our Australian wildlife is deadly and trying to kill you. I just hope the ducks don't venture into the pool because that's where I keep my pet crocodile and he's not as friendly. The finish you can get with a Scotch-Brite belt on one of these bolt grinders is incredible. I certainly don't think that one's going to snap in a hurry. If you want to see any riding videos, leave me a comment and just say, yes, Dan, we would love to see a riding video. And the more of those I get, the more chances we have of taking this bike out and getting some cool footage. After a quick test ride, this is probably down a little bit lower than what I would like. I want this to be up a little bit higher. So all I have to do is that extra thread that I've got here in the left-hand thread, I'll just trim that and then screw it back in again, and that should bring that up ever so slightly. But apart from that, it's super fun to ride, and this little lift table here, giving it a test run, thumbs up from me. If you're not following me on Instagram, I highly recommend doing so, because I do post a lot on there and it's usually stuff that's happening right at this minute. Whereas if I do a video, it usually takes a lot longer to edit and then post that video on YouTube. So Instagram is a place to get all of the current content happening right now. And speaking of motorcycle tables, I did a giveaway on my Instagram just recently with anyone in my local area who wants this wooden table that I built. I did an entire video showing you how to build this guy. It's got a tilt top. It has 2 push to open drawers, as well as 2 foot levered retractable wheels, so you can push this thing around the garage. Like I said, I showed you the entire process of how to build it, but I'm doing a giveaway because I need more height adjustability for what I'm doing in the garage. And the person that actually got the table is a guy named Sean, and he did an Instagram post saying thank you for the table. You can pause the video and read that if you want. I just was really blown away with what he said. Just a really top guy, and I'm glad this table's going to get a ton of use because he's building 2 Yamaha XV750s. So definitely go over on Instagram and give him a follow, as well as myself. Unfortunately, I didn't get any footage of us unloading it at his end. However, he did send me this little bit of footage. So this belt grinder has a ton of attachments, and it just makes jobs like this so simple. If you've been thinking about getting one for your workshop, there's a discount link in the description below. So this is my little conundrum. I was going to drill a hole through the center of this, and that was going to be mounted to this bracket that I've got on the back of the light. And there was going to be 2 thinner versions of this, and then a bolt was going to go through it and enable me to pivot the light down to where it needs to be. But unfortunately, the little locking mechanism that's here is kind of right where I need to put this. And I don't want it to sit too high. I want to try and keep this sort of in line with the top of the tank, within reason. I want it to sit back as far as I can, and that's what's stopping me from doing that, because I can't mount any of this onto there because I'm just not going to have the room to put the bracket on the bike. I might have to make a whole new bracket and throw this one in the scrap heap. Actually, I think I might be able to utilize it. We'll see. A cool little trick if you're making a template and you want to try and find the hole centers, or this will even work for the gasket, but just be really gentle when you're doing it. Just put your cardboard up there and make sure it doesn't move, and then just lightly tap it with a hammer. And that'll give you the distance between the holes as well as the hole size, which is kind of really cool. And another way to do it is with some masking tape. Just put it straight across there, make sure you push nice and hard, and then when you peel it off, voila. You just got to be careful not to stretch the masking tape. So this little guy here snapped off when I was trying to bend it in position, which is probably better anyway because it gave me a chance to really clean it up and drill the holes. And this here I've bent, as you can see, this way, just to give myself enough room to push that light back as far as possible. So that's pretty much where the light ended up. It's given us a little bit of adjustability once that bolt gets tightened up completely. And I did end up making a new one of these, just a little bit more material in the next one. So I had something to weld to. There's still quite a bit of work left to do to this bike, and we've got to get over to CMS's website and get some more parts as well. Something pretty exciting has just happened and I wanted to share that with you right now. I can now offer you 10% discount on custom YSS shocks through the suspension store, but make sure you use the link in the description below and make sure you use CRG YSS at checkout. I'll leave that on the screen and I'll leave the link in the description below. Christmas is just around the corner. Get yourself a present, or at least make sure you put that on your list and send it to Santa. If you don't know about YSS shocks, they're absolutely amazing. If you're curious if they're gonna fit your bike, go over to the suspension store website, send them an email. You can mention me if you want. Their response time is incredible. Just make sure you use the code CRG, which is Cafe Racer Garage, YSS at checkout, to make sure you take advantage of that 10% discount. So Crystal popped in to work on her bike. For anyone who doesn't know, this is Crystal's CB400. She lives about an hour away from me. She popped in, we got a chance to work on her seat. We're still trying to figure out the tail light. I'm quite proud of Crystal getting in and having a go and using some of these tools. I'm teaching her as much as I possibly can. And if you have any words of encouragement for her, throw them in the comments below. If you haven't seen the previous videos where we're cutting the subframe, building a new one, doing the seat pan, and also fitting the tank, I'll leave those at the end for you. It's really cool what she's doing, and you guys get to see the entire process of this build. As always, if you've enjoyed these videos, go and check out these two, the CB750 as well as Crystal's CB400.